Hey everybody, it's Scott coming with you for Rita and our special guest Vivienne, and we're going to hear for Kylego number 28. So this should be a lot of fun. We do some group things too, so if you're interested in coming on with us to Kylego, let us know, and we'll probably mess things up as we always do, or we'll come up with some really great fun things as we Kylego. And this time we have Vivienne on with us, so why don't you introduce yourself to us, tell us all about you, and just kind of give a brief introduction to the group so that we can meet you.
Sure. Hi. So Vivienne, I joined the E-Shift group thinking I was going to take my bioenergy healing business and really turn it into a business, kind of, sort of. And much to my surprise, but 1/3 of the way through, while meditating and sitting quiet and doing the exercises, I found myself taking a complete detour into something totally unexpected. And most of my messages were stop, stop, sit quiet, surrender to the sitting quiet, stop pushing, stop asking why stuff is not happening, just stop. And so I kind of switched off, started getting a lot quieter, and stuff started to really shift for me. In fact, even clients would start to heal faster and quicker when I just let go of all expectations. And so for me, I think right now, the journey really is to get deeper into this, whatever this space is, and move from there, if I'm called to move at all. One of the dreams that I had last year was to do this little group version of the work that I do. So I would ask a friend in a city if I could use their home to host 6 to 8 people. And I would travel, having a lot of mini vacations along the way, and help people heal. And by helping people heal, I mean really just teaching them that all the wisdom that they need to heal whatever it is lies within them. And all you need to do is be plugged into this wonderful world we live in. And your body really starts to settle down and settle into healing itself. And so my Kylego this time was going to be, so after I sort of switched off and said, to hell with everything, I'm just not going to do anything, I'm just going to sit quiet and have my tea and relax and nap and go for a walk if I feel like it.
I feel so accomplished.
I know. I have to backtrack a little bit because until March of this year, I had a day job. I was working as a lunch lady in a cafeteria. And one of the days, it was a Friday, and I would constantly be caught between wanting to order an extra pizza for the kids who forgot and not wanting to throw away extra slices if we didn't have too many kids. And one Friday I was like, you know what, to hell with these kids. I'm so sick of them. I'm just not going to order an extra pizza. They're just going to have to figure it out. I'm just going to give them cereal. And I was like, whatever. And that afternoon, when the pizza delivery guy came, he came in and he said, Jets has given you an extra pizza. So whole 8 slices extra for me to just, and as soon as he left, I sort of opened the door and I screamed out into the world saying, thank you. Because I said, there was a God and he gave me an extra pizza. Even though I was in such a bad mood, so it didn't matter that I was in a bad mood, that I was calling these kids snot balls. He still gave me an extra pizza. And that was really my wake-up call in a way, because I thought to myself, like, me and all my shittiness, if I could get an extra pizza for being who I am at my worst, what am I worried about?
It's about honesty. Yeah, you're being honest. That's better than being good.
Yes. Yeah. And so within the next week, I sort of, that was my wake-up call. I was like, I'm quitting this job because this feels like I'm trying so hard to, like, just make that extra money. And I was like, if he can give me an extra pizza, he can give me anything. So that was my wake-up call.
Wow. So it started with pizza and now it's the world. I love it. Oh, amazing.
Fabulous.
That's incredible. That's great. I think that everybody there's so many stories like that, and I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, do you want to do a Kylego with it? Do you want us to start, or would you like to start just to get things going?
I think I'd rather start just because I'm scared to.
Okay.
I'm gonna jump in.
Great. Sometimes we've been doing a lot of different times for this, so we sometimes do 8 minutes, 7 minutes, 5 minutes, and then Rita and I will supercharge you, and then you can supercharge us when we Kylego. So, how much time feels good for you?
I think 5 for now.
5 minutes. All right. And I'm not going to do the cow this time. You've probably watched some of the videos. It's a different tone, so it just doesn't feel right. The cow doesn't feel right anymore. So, and you can pick how far in the future you want to Kylego from. It is all up to you.
Okay.
And if we find it helps just to sort of start. So, whenever you're ready, you can just go ahead, and I've got you for 5 minutes. There you go.
Oh. So it's been a year since I did my healing group in New York City. And that was Manhattan was supposed to be my kickoff to do my world healing tour. And it was absolutely mind-blowing because I started off with wanting just 6 to 8 people. So it put a random number of 9 people, asked for 9 people. And then it got so crazy that I had to do 2 groups. I had to do one in the evening, and then I had to actually call another friend and say, could I please use your home? Because I have a few more people interested in this. And then we decided to use her home. And so I rented out the space in the evening, and stuff just started to happen that was even outside my realm of control. Kind of like the minute I let go of the reins, it felt like there were people picking up reins all over the place and helping me. And that really, really, really blew me away because I didn't expect that. I thought I had to have my plan in place. I had to have just everything laid out. And this really, really, really surprised me in the sense of that there were so many people with big hearts and big dreams and big sense of just helping me. And from that group, I made a lot of friends and made a lot of connections, and there were people there who just saw the benefit in learning the method themselves, and so signed up to take classes so they could help their own families. And I don't teach, so it wasn't like they were coming to me to teach. They would go to whoever was teaching. But for me, it was more, I think, more interesting to watch them understand and know how easy it was to heal and how you could heal almost instantaneously. It didn't have to be this long, it's going to take 6 months for your back pain to go away. It could happen now, or it could happen over the 4 days. And to watch them transform, to watch them see how quickly healing could take place was my reward. Not so much the money and not so much the, Vivienne is a healer kind of. I wasn't interested in that validation anymore. And then I didn't have to really look or place pushpins on my map anymore. Everything just snowballed from then. There was a person who had a friend in Paris, and that person had a friend who was in New Zealand, and it just kind of snowballed into, without planning my world tour, stuff just started to sort of fall into place. And it felt organic. It felt like it was meant to happen. It just felt good. It didn't feel like I was trying to kind of rope people in or dangle carrots or it just had a different feeling around it. And that feeling, I think, is what I want. That feeling of everybody just coming together because they are on the same page as you. And so even the clients who either come or don't come, I'm completely okay with that now. And I wasn't earlier. I would always be in a place of like, why can't you understand how easy this is? And how come you don't get why would you keep running to the doctor? I was just like so frustrated. And that frustration is a thing of the past now, because I really truly believe that it doesn't matter. Everybody's exactly where they're supposed to be, and it's their journey, and there's going to be a right time and a right place, and it doesn't matter. Do I still have time left? Is it like 3 minutes left?
It's okay. You have 30 seconds left, but we can generally just go. That was wonderful.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
I feel a little weirded out. But in a good way.
What feels weird?
The fact that I think my focus shifted again back in and not out. As in, you know what I'm trying to say? Or so the focus is not so much on the healing the world as it is healing my perceptions and my perceptions.
Okay.
Rita, would you like to supercharge her for 3 minutes?
Oh, I would love to.
All right, let's do that.
Okay. Yeah, so Vivienne, you started your world tour in Manhattan, of all places. And all of this coming from quitting and getting quiet and noticing a pizza. So you just kept remembering that pizza. Anytime it started to feel a little bit hard or that old frustration would come up, just the pizza would come to mind. And you did this workshop in Manhattan. It doubled in size. God just kept sending you more people who really wanted to be there, really wanted to be responsible for their own interiors, for their soul, for their feelings, for their physical wellness, and really wanted to understand what that's all about, and wanted to tap into that energy, that divine love, that divine wisdom that can allow us to heal instantly. And the snowball, you kept saying, God is so crazy. Now he's sending me to New Zealand. And next month, and then of course I have to hop over to Australia because
That's right.
God is very economical and efficient that way. So you were having all of these like time in between to just relax and be quiet. No point in traveling back home when you're out there. And it just became a pace that was really enjoyable and sustainable for you. And there was no marketing, it was just word of mouth of people who really want what you're tapping into. And each time you just got even more connected, and it just became more rapid, the response from the people. And it was like the world tour without a map, in no map in any way whatsoever, other than what each person's body and soul tells you in the moment. And there was no giddy, excited feeling. It was all just calm. each time you had some kind of success, it was just a feeling of a blessing and evidence, and like reading a good book, that feeling of a resolution, and you wanted to share that with others.
Wow. That got me all teary-eyed. So I know there's a lot of truth there.
Yeah. Tears are very telling.
Yes. Amen.
All right, I have something.
Good.
It'll be fun. 3 minutes for me. So Vivienne is on her world tour, and she's started out in Manhattan. She started out in New York. And one of the things she always talks about when she's in her healing workshops in an introduction is she talks about this experience she had when she was working as a lunch lady, and she was wondering if she could order another pizza or not, and then she got a free pizza just by doing nothing, and how that just came to her. And so she does share this story quite a bit with folks. And in one of her first workshops, she and one of her other participants got the idea that they were going to order pizza for lunch, and that they were going to bring in whatever delivery person came in to actually try to heal them, and just to see what would happen. And so this pizza story actually helped Vivienne to kind of branch out to more than just folks who are really in the know about holistic healing. This was actually for the people. And so she would actually run into people on the street, and she wouldn't have to necessarily even plan to fill up her workshops, because she knew that all she had to do was connect and talk with people, even on the street. And there would be people that would come to her because of this story, of this something very compelling of her story of how she quit and she dropped out of her job to do what she really meant to do in her passions. And the pizza story has fit, and it has like taken off, because this is a story of like common people, and they understand, anything can start with one thing like this. If we can get an extra pizza from just calling out from the universe an extra food, we can actually heal ourselves, and we can actually bring more people in that organic way. So she gets people who run hot dog stands in Manhattan. She gets people who, from the very interesting spots of the world that she had no idea would be very interested in healing like this, because these are common people. These are people who are so into serving others that sometimes they forget themselves. So, and it's the same story that Vivienne has, is how she was so into serving other folks in that frustration, and learning that part of letting go and healing is also healing oneself, and just to let go of those expectations. And so once she actually told that, and she related to herself on this I was just like you, as a common person who is there helping other folks and just denying myself, I learned that I could get free pizza, and I learned that I could get free healing. And ever since then, life has changed, and my groups are filling up. And I love that. I love the people who are coming to me, because they're salt of the earth folks. They're healers mixed with common folks, mixed with investors, mixed with pizza salesmen and hot dog vendors.
Ooh, I can get free healing. Yep. There's something that people would like to know. Yes. Or you would think they would like to know.
Yeah. Wow.
It was an idea that just came into my head.
Yeah.
And just I thought, I've got to let that out. So.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love the whole circle that it took. Kind of just went back to center.
Right. Like a pizza.
Like a pizza. That's interesting.
Fun. So you'll watch this a year from now, and I think that it's incredible how small stories like that might just take off. that you never know. Mine was getting something over the winter solstice, and Rita's came through as, oh, I'm just drawing circles for an exercise. You know, they're back here behind me, they're watching me, and I'm just doing them as an exercise, and I don't know what's happening. And so,
right, no plan, no map.
Yep, no plan, no map.
All right, who wants to Kylego next? You get to supercharge us.
Yeah, I can go if you like.
All right. Would you like 5 minutes as well?
Sure.
All right. Here we go with Rita.
Okay. We are, let's see, we're in September of 2018. And I'm still in Manhattan because Vivienne invited me to be a guest at her workshop. So I am enjoying the city for a while. And wow, it was so fun and so freeing for everyone, including myself and Vivienne. And it was just amazing to watch these people respond to Vivienne, and then to get a circle, and then to watch what those two things did together. And it was perfect to start there in the city, because the perceptions of cost and value and what you receive is so different than in a lot of places. So that people were just we're just so ready to have something different than the voices that they hear around them, the constant the constant stories that come towards us, especially when you're in a big city. And they started to feel, during the workshop, they started to feel how much they absorb from other people. And part of it was because Vivienne was feeling that in them, and the circles that was like a recurring theme. There needs to be an awareness of what's you and what's someone else. And that was the main purpose of the circles for everyone in the group, was to create an awareness of boundaries, to be an awareness of one's own soul and what the soul absorbs, and what you have mastery over, that you don't have to absorb. You can be aware of, just like Vivienne might be aware of an illness in somebody, but she's not going to absorb it. So the circles were just like a reinforcement of everything Vivienne was doing. So these people just left after 4 days completely feeling like different people, feeling more energy, more curiosity. That was what we heard back from everybody. The curiosity that had been restored in those 4 days fueled so much wellness and exploration in the coming weeks, that they started to feel more, I hate to say in control of themselves, but that's kind of what it is, except that it's a paradox, because they were also able to let go and have no plan. They were totally willing to be open with that curiosity, to feel whatever comes to them, and to notice what is healthful and what is destructive. and to be able to play with that, even to invite some of the destruction in so that they can learn from it and then release it. Being able to release destructive energy is an incredibly powerful thing. So I just keep hearing back from people in the city, and because they're surrounded by so many people, they're just telling everyone about Vivienne's work and the circles, and I'm getting multiple. I have a waiting list for circles. It's the East Coast is going to be awash with soul circles, and they're going to connect, like connecting the dots all along the Eastern Seaboard. And I know that this is changing the world in some way with all of these connections happening in those populated places. Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah.
So many bits and pieces, and wow.
That was a good one.
Wow.
Oh, I just noticed I have a little Fibonacci code right here.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know that until just this moment.
Wow, yeah, I've seen a lot of shadows showing up now. That I think now that it's on my consciousness, I see it everywhere. So it's crazy. All right, Vivienne, do you want to supercharge Rita? Or do you want an example first?
Yeah, I probably want an example first.
Okay. I'll do that in 3 minutes. So, all right. So Rita has been at Vivienne's workshop with her in New York. And so I'm just going to report on the things that have happened afterwards. Rita has been busy making circles for not only the folks in the workshop, but you know, everyone got the circles that were there as prints, as electronic versions. But Rita's been busy, like also while she was in New York and while someone was there at the workshop. 4 days can bring a lot of folks to you, and so one day, one person brought in, this is my niece so and so who is an artist, and she just wants to sit and observe and watch Rita do a circle while this healing happens. And so Vivienne and Rita said, that sounds great. And so the niece, who is an artist of someone, found a gallery. And then a gallery in New York said, do you have circles that you can just send to us? And so as this exposure kind of happened, it just sort of naturally progressed that as the circles got more into people's consciousness through healing, more people wanted to know about the circles. And it became about organically. It came about in a way that Rita didn't have to pursue any galleries. She actually let these galleries keep the circles for a time with information about her. She wasn't there to sell them at the gallery, but the gallery was willing to just to post them there for a time so that people could get in touch with Rita. So that people get in touch with Rita so that they could have their own circle done. It wasn't about selling, and it wasn't about the splitting of fees that of course is like an old paradigm. And so this because of the healing nature of the workshop and because of the healing nature of the people in the group, this person actually recognized that they knew someone who just was starting a gallery and needed someone to walk through, people to walk through doors and see something very totally creative and totally unique, and not to make any sales, but to just have someone walk through the doors and say, this is a gallery for the people and healing. And when Rita made those connections, there are other people in the art world kind of recognized, yeah, this is a new paradigm, and this is something new that we need to do, is not necessarily just see other people's art as a commodity for us, but even in New York, the greatest art capital of the world, but they saw this as a way for them to spread healing as well as art. So it was more of a service rather than to the community, rather than a service to themselves, so that they could actually profit by taking half of any sale. And so this was very integral for her to find someone like this, just out of the blue, to come through to bring her circles to a gallery in New York while she was there.
Oh, I've wondered what the new paradigm is. There it is. Service, gallery of service, gallery of healing. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Vivienne, do you want to try?
Sure.
You don't have to be perfect. You can mess it up.
Okay.
All right, here we go. 3 minutes, or as long as you like.
So when Rita first told me that she was coming along for the ride, I was like, whoa, let's do it. Because we have a kinship that we formed in like over the last week and a half. But it seems like we've known each other for like not just years, but lifetimes. We're on the same page more often than not. We just have sort of similar paths in life, even though she's working with crayons and I'm working. It is really the same thing. It's just we're approaching it from two different paths. So when she came in with her circles, just the energy that emanated from the circles helped me tune in even deeper to people. And when I say tune in deeper, I'd mentioned to Rita some time back that I'd started years ago with Reiki. And the very first time I saw her soul circle, I said, oh my God, this reminds me of some of the stuff I would see while I was working on people. But I stopped working with Reiki because of that, because I was seeing too much. And so it's interesting that I use Rita's wisdom without getting into the same place as Rita is. And so it kind of works. Rita's circles work with and for and under and through and around me. And it's almost like an exchange of information at a very, very deep level. It's an exchange of healing information. This information of healing is just swirling around the room and people are absorbing it just by sitting there. They don't even need to be, they don't need to have my hands on them, or just by sitting in that room, because all this energy is swirling around with all this information of healing at levels I don't think we can even begin to understand yet. It's so deep and it's so, maybe, I don't know, in realms we haven't yet entered. But the information is present. And now we have layers and layers and layers of this perfect information that is coming through Rita's circles and through my hands and through just our presence at some point. At some point, I wonder if we may not even need a circle, or we may not need our hands. We just might need to be there to be present. And just by your presence, trigger the others vibrating at a frequency of health. And so Rita's...
It's okay. You can keep going.
I was going to say, so Rita's started off with Rita's circles, but then I think it became more about just Rita being Rita in that room. And just sitting there.
Sweet.
In her cloak in her invisible cloak.
Yeah. I love it. That whole in, around, over, under. I forgot all of the words you use, but that's so perfect. Oh, thank you both. This is going to be a valuable one, most definitely, for me.
I had something to say about the invisibility bit, because in one of the posts on the e-shift, when I said I think my cloak might be wrapped, it is so strange because it's almost as like that little bit of information hasn't been seen yet. It's just gotten swamped with all the other information that's swirled around that post, and it kind of gets hidden or is not. I might be wrong. It might be just a story in my head, but it kind of feels like it just is not visible because there's so much noise around everything else, and until you, I think, resonate with that, you're not going to see it.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I just find that fascinating and interesting. And I'm quite happy to just sit back and observe, because I'm learning so much by just watching and
Yeah.
I'm not feeling the need to like stick my nose in and say, hey, like, hello. Did you,
Right.
could you?
Yeah. Or sell it, and with all of the very valuable things that is there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get it. Mm.
Oh.
Okay, Scott.
Okay, I've got 5 minutes of good stuff.
Yeah, I want to know where you're gonna go.
All right. This could be related somewhat, but unrelated, but in the whole, probably.
Yeah.
All right. So it has been a year since Rita and Vivienne and I have done our Kylego. And in that year, and it almost started like right when we had the intent to kind of come on, and when Vivienne came on and we added this aspect of healing. And then Rita also added her aspect of putting on an invisible cloak and really finding these things like cymatics and resonance and patterning and sound and Fibonacci sequences and things that just flooded into our group, along with her Ellen of the Ways, guiding the path kind of persona that she is by even being invisible and silent and quiet, about getting quiet as a thing. We started talking in our group quite a bit over the last year of this third healing presence that comes into play when we do Kylego. It's almost as if there's a hand, the hand of the universe, hand of God, the knowing eyes that Rita has, and how this third presence has really come through in all the work that we've been doing ever since the very beginning, but it's become a little more forefront. And so we do have a little more of a healing aspect that's come to our group that I started seeing a year ago, that I just really, I've been trying so much to like just put that in there, make sure that there is this healing aspect. And I don't necessarily have to try, because maybe sometimes I just hold up a sign and say, look at this. And I don't have to try, and then discussions come up. And then people talk about how not only are they these practical things about quitting and getting quiet and projecting the future with Kylego and future knowledge, but they're actually seeing this third hand work with them through the projects that they do, through the effortless things that they can bring about, through the healing that happens with them, through shifts in their own consciousness, through what comes to them as far as, and Rita, it's things have come for her in such a way that it's, the Fibonacci sequences and the mathematics of her circles have just, it's exploded so much. And with me, I've been kind of on a weight loss and fitness journey for a while too, and this past year has been really great for me. And a year ago it was a little more shallow reasons, because I felt like I needed to just kind of like, I need to lose those last 25 pounds because I'm moving and I'm really in this mode. So I was doing and doing, but then throughout this doing, I kind of felt this shift of healing, not only about fitness and about weight loss for me, but there was this shift of healing that was taking place. And it was by me kind of like giving up notions and letting myself be led. What am I being led to more? And so I applied this to my own practice of, the journey I've been on since like I started losing all the weight that I've lost in the last year and a half, now 2 years. And so I've, applied that. I have that story to tell about that third hand coming through as well for me, as far as like weight loss and as far as like on my own improvement of, I had to just quit this notion that I had to like make sure that I was so regimented about going to the gym, or regimented about my diet. And I had to like release that and quit and start following what I felt was what my body was telling me, rather than what all the voices around were saying. And that had made a lot of difference. I'm playing a lot more tennis. I still do what I love. I love the yoga. I love the weights. I love the tennis probably even more. And so I've even been like talking about tennis and life together. And so how I've integrated these things, this isn't just a means to an end, it's a means to life. And so once I integrated all of these, things that I do for weight loss and for fitness, not just as the means to the ends for fitness and bodily health and things like that, but as a way to explain life and the unfolding of life, and how tennis can be a metaphor for everything else in our life, how the resistance that we feel in our body and our bones and our cells can be a parallel for everything in our life. Everything started falling into place, and I couldn't believe that I achieved more than I ever thought I could. Not achievement didn't even apply. It wasn't even the word achievement. It was just like there was a huge release. And I couldn't have done that had I stayed on that same path of control.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah, it's been on my mind a lot lately too. Ever since I've like gotten past my plateau and started losing weight again. So I lost 3 pounds this week without even trying.
Yeah.
So it's there's been a shift, and but I'm starting to realize it's more about me letting go than it is about me controlling. So so that's been on my mind, plus the move that's coming up, and yeah, and just the group energy is shifting, and I've really noticing that.
Yeah. Good. I'm ready to supercharge.
Okay, I'm ready to hear that. Go ahead.
Yeah, so Scott, I have watched you just let go. You've been this quiet teacher, just sitting back and allowing everything to unfold within the community, within your own life, within your daily activities, within your health, within your body, within your soul. And you are evidence that when you just allow things to be shown to you, and you make yourself open to noticing these things, there's no regimen, there's no schedule, there's no weight loss plan, there's no diet you have to follow. You just be. And when you just be, your body just settles into health, and your cells just, they have all the information that you need in there. There's and that's, I guess, what kinesiology is all about. And you just started to pay attention. Does my body want this? Yes. So you go do it. Does my body want this? No. So you would need it. So that was it. There was no plan to follow. And that has just been inspiring for so many people, because it can be applied across the board. And you've been using tennis as an analogy and a metaphor for how this all works. And so you've actually gotten a lot of tennis people to come into the community and into your coaching practice, because they know tennis, and so they can apply it in different ways to their own lives. And what's really interesting is this third presence that you have been devoted to noticing and to showing to others, because that's in this whole system too, of you're experimenting. And there was something that I really had, and now I've lost it, but it'll come to me at some other time. So the tennis it was with the tennis analogy, and that whole metaphor, and I'll stop trying to reach for it. So these, oh, it was so good too.
I even paused for a while. I paused the timer. I was like, I'm just going to pause it for a moment. We'll play with it.
It's going to come in the middle of Vivienne talking, so I'll write it down.
All right. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
So Vivienne, if you don't know this, like I haven't shared this yet. So it's an old story, but it's a story, I guess. So I went through a divorce and then I moved, and in the last year and a half, I've lost 73 pounds. So just as a backstory.
Wow.
So yeah, it was 70 for a while, and I was a plateau for 6 months, and now I've lost 3 more. So, but yeah, I have to like, I'm in this part where it's like, okay, is this an old story or is this a new story? And I got to make it just the present story. So,
Okay.
That's just a little background for you.
Okay.
So, do you want to supercharge?
Yes.
All right, here we go. 3 minutes.
All right. So Scott was talking about how he'd lost weight and how he lost weight when he let go of all his plans to lose weight. And to me, that made a lot of sense because I think when you let go of stuff, weight is included in that letting go of everything. It's part of the falling off of what is not truly us, what is not authentically us, is the extra weight. And that kind of resonates with me because as I've entered my 50s, I'm 52 now, I kind of feel myself fighting the same battles of hanging on to weight. And I have to sort of really deeply, truly understand that when I'm completely and utterly okay with being how I am right now, and I kind of came into Kylego today, even not showering, because I was like, nope, I'm just going to come as I am. So you're going to see me for who I am, as I am right now, in all my vulnerability, in all my authenticity, in all my, those words don't even apply anymore because that is always an other to explain what's happening right now. So I think for Scott, the more you understood the letting go bit of this, and the more you allowed yourself to cry and feel all your feelings as often as they came up. Tears are also a way of letting go of the old stories, of letting go of the old feelings of how we feel when we're not being heard, or we're not being seen, or we're not being loved the way we would want to. Weight was never an issue for you after that because it just all fell away like it was like you were shedding another layer of clothing, or like you just took off a layer at a time. And healing always happens in layers. So as you went through this process of letting go, it was just like the peeling of an onion, where there would be one more layer shed and then one more layer shed, and you came to your core. And when you were truly okay with who you are, as you are, with no nothing from the outside to want to complete you, your weight was never an issue anymore. It was just, you were Scott in all your perfection.
So good.
Thank you. Did you come up with your extra thing, Rita?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
No.
All right. I was just anticipating. Wow. Thank you so much. So, wow, this gives me a lot to think about and a lot to just sort of feel.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of ways to feel like I can shift how I can even help others. So, yeah, thank you both.
Thank you.
All right, well, that's a wrap. So any closing comments for you both? Thank you, Vivienne. This was great.
Yeah, I think this was a big one for all of us.
How often do you see us doing something like this? Is it just, have you planned anything, or is it just as and when you want to, you feel the need to, or?
Yeah, we haven't planned, of course. And we are,
As soon as I said it.
yeah. We're just sort of letting it happen organically. So yeah, want, need, inspiration, idea, some Kylego crazy, and God's crazy, so they'll keep putting things in front of us, and we'll see who jumps on.
Okay.
Yeah, totally. And you can't plan the magic, it just happens. So we quit planning. I mean, Rita and I, we Kylego weekly together. Everyone sees that. So, but no, there's no plan.
Okay.
Yeah, and if we have a regular, that's, we're doing it weekly, but somebody wants to jump on like you, that's good. That's what we're here for.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to stop the recording. So thank you everybody else for watching. So, and then we'll all talk about you. So, and we'll see you later.
Thank you.